What's better than one castle? A puppy? No. Well, maybe. No, two castles. The king has gotten a little demanding in his old age. You, the master builder, will work together with another master builder at your table and construct the most impressive castle in the world. Will you build the queen's chamber next to the rabbit room? Or perhaps right above the hidden lair? Plan carefully, as each room will score you big points if you place them in just the right spot. A castle with just one sleeping room isn't much of a castle. Why not build three? In fact, why not build three of everything? Building 3 rooms of a kind has its perks. By the way, so does 5. Decisions will have to be made. Do you build a snake pit in this castle, or will it be better over here? There isn't much time. The king wants his castle now. 2 rounds and that's it. Count up all your points. Highest score wins.
It's not entirely true. Since you're building up 2 castles, you will count up the points for each one individually. However, you'll only score the lowest of the 2. But your lowest might be your partner's highest. Therefore, they can't beat you with that one. They'll have to also score their lowest castle. Highest of the lowest wins. I think we've confused you enough. Void where prohibited.
Hello, my friends. Let's take a look at Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, designed by Ben Rosset and Matthew O'Malley, published by Stonemaeir Games. This game plays 3 to 7 players in about 45 to 60 minutes. Now there is a 2-player variant, which I might touch upon in this review, but the game really shines at 3 to 7 players. Stonemaeir was kind enough to send me this copy for review. So how does it play, and what do I think? Let's set it up and discuss. Before we go full-on review mode, I usually like to hide components of the game I'm talking about somewhere in the room. So for this one, I've hidden 3 tiles, and the tiles look like this, okay? Tiles look like that. Here's the, whoops, sorry. So here's the front, and here's the back. There's 3 tiles hidden somewhere in this room. Can you find them? Let me know in the comments, just for fun. All right, so let's get to it. Between Two Castles is a blend of another Stonemaeir game, Between Two Cities, and Bézier Games' Castles of Mad King Ludwig. However, this game holds its own weight, and you don't need to have played any of those other 2 games, but if you have, you'll have a head start in understanding the iconography and the scoring concepts. So let's talk about how it plays, starting with setup. Setup is a breeze thanks to the included game trays. Everyone takes a stack of 9 tiles and puts it in front of them with their castle token on top. Now let me show you these castle tokens because they're pretty cool, So here are a few of them. And hopefully you can see them there. There they are. So these are your player tokens. Now, you don't build the castle in front of you. You will be between 2 castles. See what I did there? So throughout the game, you'll be working on building 2 castles, one on your left and one on your right. And so will every other player at the table. Once everyone draws their stack of 9 tiles, then you're ready to begin. And turns are super simple. Everyone starts with a randomly drawn throne room tile. And here's what the throne room tile looks like. Now down here is how you're going to score this tile. And there's a number of different ones. So they're all the same throne room. However, each of them is going to score a little differently. So every time you play, you choose a different throne room and it gives you a different start. Now this is the only tile in the game that is the size of 2 tiles, and I'll explain how that works in a bit. But on your turn, you will select 2 tiles from your stack, then pass your remaining tiles to the player on your left and put it in front of them with their castle token on top. Now you have to decide in which of the 2 castles you will place your tile. You must place 1 tile in each castle, and you can discuss with your fellow builders where to place the tile once you've chosen the 2 tiles you want to place. Once you have placed a tile in both of your castles, you select 2 more tiles from your current stack and you do it again. And this goes on until you have 1 tile remaining under your castle token. At that point, you discard that tile and that round ends. Round 2 works in the same way, except that you will now pass your tiles to the player on your right. At the end of round 2, again, when you have one remaining tile under your castle token, you discard that tile and the game ends. Total up your points from both castles, and your score will be the lower of the 2 castles. Whoever scores the highest wins. Now, let's take a look at how these tiles score, because that will determine where you place them. So let's take a look at the table here. You'll see that there are 7 types of rooms, and each room type is indicated on the upper left-hand corner. For example, this means that this is a food room. And if you've played Castles of Mad King Ludwig before, you'll be familiar with these room types. It uses the same iconography. Each type of room has some restriction on where in the castle it can be placed. And that's where this handy dandy little player aid comes in, well, comes in handy. So let's check it out. The food rooms, living rooms, utility rooms, outdoor rooms, and sleeping rooms can all be placed in the same row as the throne room or above. And you can tell that by this black arrow right here. That's what this is saying. It means it can be placed in the same level as the throne room or above. Now, this is a good time to point out that any tile you place in any row above the throne room must be supported by another tile underneath. So, for example, let's take a throne room here. Let me put this off to the side. So here's your throne room. Now, I can place a food room, for example, right here. Get this out of the way. So I can place a food room right here, or I could place it right here. However, I cannot place a room like this because now there's nothing supporting it underneath. Another example, I can do this, but I can't place a room there because, again, there's no support. This is a good time also to point out that there are tiles with a blue border. Most of the tiles will have a white border, but the ones with a blue border indicate that these are open air rooms. So you can't place anything above them. You can place tiles higher than that. You just can't place tiles on top of this tile because after all, there's no roof to support it. So for example, I could place this tile here, but I wouldn't be able to put anything else on top of it. So this is a fish pond. So obviously there's no ceiling or roof on the fish pond. But I can place tiles higher than that. So for example, if I had something like this, you know, I could put this here. I just can't put it right on top. Now let's go back to the player aid here. So the next column tells us that food rooms will score 2 points per room type specified on the tile and placed in the indicated areas. So you see this little white square there? This refers to the food tile itself. And the little black squares refer to where these tiles need to go in order to score. In this case, it would have to be above and below the room. So let's look at an example. Let's say I had this food room right here in my castle. Let me put it up a little closer. Okay. So now this tells me, let me get the right angle. So this tells me that this food room will score 2 points per living room that is on the left and on the right. So let's think. So let's pretend this was my castle right now, and I place this food room here. So just placing it there doesn't score. But if I were to put this living room here to its left, now that would score me 2 points. And if I managed to get another living room and put it here on the other side, now that would score me 4 points. So let's look at another example, the living rooms. So the living rooms also must be placed above the same level or above the throne room, and they score 1 point per a specific tile that surrounds it. Let's look at this example again. So let's say this living room was here instead. Now this living room scores one point per food room that surrounds it. So if I have this here and I put this food room here, well, that's going to score me a point. And if I manage to get another food room here, that scores me another point and another point. So if this was my castle at the end of the game, this living room tile would score me 3 points. So every single tile has a way of scoring, and everything is mentioned here on this player aid. I'll leave the rest to be explained by the player aid. Now, the last two rooms we haven't touched on are the corridors and the downstairs. And the reason is the corridor can be placed above or below the throne room, or on the same level as the throne room. So it can be placed anywhere. So for example, here's a corridor tile. So I can place this here, or I can place it here, and I can even place it here. What I can't do is, remember, place it above the throne room with nothing underneath to support it. So this can't be done. The downstairs rooms can only be placed below the throne room. So here's a downstairs room. So I can only place this there. Now, one thing to note about downstairs rooms are a little different than upstairs. A downstairs room does not need anything below it to support it. It only needs to be orthogonally adjacent to another room. So for example, I can't put another downstairs room, let me scoot this up a little. I can't put a downstairs room there, but I can put it here, and I can put it here. Let's talk about scoring bonuses. The third column of the player aid talks about those bonuses. Once you place a third room of the same type, you earn a bonus, and the bonus varies per room type. For example, the bonus for placing 3 food rooms is drawing 5 tiles and placing 1 right away. So you go to the tile tray, you draw 5 tiles randomly, and you place 1 immediately. For the living room, you choose one of these smaller royal attendant tiles and place it in your throne room. And there's room for 2 tiles. Let's take a look at that. There are 4 different royal attendants to choose from, and hopefully you can see them here in this shot, and each will score differently. So for example, if you choose a painter, which is right here, at the end of the game, if you have this in your throne room, a painter will score you 1 point per, and you see this little icon right here? Some tiles have an additional icon on its upper right side. So the upper left side indicates the type of room it is, and the upper right side will show you what is, something that's in that room. So in this case, it's a tapestry. That's what that icon indicates. Other rooms might have this double sword icon. Others might have this mirror icon, and then there's also a torch. But going back to the example of the painter, so if I take this tile as my bonus, I can place it here in my throne room. And now at the end of the game, I will get a point for each room in my castle that has a tapestry, including the throne room. Because if you notice, this throne room, these tiles are going all over the place. This throne room has a tapestry icon, this has a tapestry icon, and this one has. So right now, I already have 3 extra points thanks to that royal attendant. Let's look at the other bonuses. So for a utility room, the bonus is to draw, I'm dancing with this card, is to draw 3 bonus cards and keep 1. There's a whole bunch of bonus cards that you can get. And they give you bonus scoring at the end of the game. So once you place your 3rd utility room, you can get one of these bonus cards and hopefully have something to aim for as you're playing the game and score some extra points. For an outdoor room, when you place your third one, the bonus is to get a fountain. For a sleeping room, a tower, and for a corridor, the grand foyer. And let's take a look at these because these are specialty tiles. And this is the only way to get them is as a bonus for completing 3 outdoor rooms, 3 sleeping rooms, or 3 corridors. So the specialty tiles, so these are the specialty tiles. This is the grand foyer. It scores you 1 point per tile that surrounds it. Doesn't matter what tile it is. The fountain just gives you a straight up 5 points for each one. And my personal favorite, the tower. So the tower is cool because the higher your castle is, the more you're going to score with the tower. Because it gives you 1 point per tile in the same row, all the way down. Now, because it's a blue tile, remember the restriction with the blue tiles? You can't place anything on top of it. And that makes sense because what are you going to build on top of a tower? So if I were to take this tower and place it right here in my castle, now I can't build anything on top of it, but I will score 1, 2, 3, 4 points. So now if I continue building downstairs rooms in this castle, I'll continue scoring points thanks to my tower. So now this tower is worth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points at the end of the game. So towers are great, and you can have any number of these specialty tiles in your castle by the end of the game. Once you place the third downstairs room, the bonus for that is you can pick any one of the other bonuses. And this is how you can get your second royal attendant to place in your throne room. So again, you can pick any one of these bonuses. But if you were to pick the second attendant, well, now you get it and you place it in your throne room, and now you have 2, and now you have another way to score 1 point per whatever that royal attendant is looking for. There's also a bonus for placing 5 of any regular room type. And once you do, you can choose one of the specialty rooms. Where did I put them? There we go. So you can choose one of the specialty rooms, and you know, because of the shield icon right there, and all the specialty rooms, the 3 types have a shield icon right there. So you can choose any one and place it in your castle. Once the game ends, you will total up your score for both the castle on your left and the castle on your right. The lowest of the 2 is your score, and the other players will do the same. Whoever winds up with the highest total is the winner. And if you look at the score sheet, there is plenty to score. So plan to spend some time scoring your castle at the end. Now, what do I think about Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig? Well, for me, it's a winner. I'm not going to lie, I had my doubts going in. In fact, this is one of the few Stonemaeir games I did not own. Euphoria is the other. So, heads up, Stonemaeir. So this game never grabbed my attention until I played Castles of Mad King Ludwig just a few months ago. So I'm really glad I was able to play this because, I gotta say, it's a lot of fun. So let's get into some detail. First, let's talk about component quality and art. And if you haven't noticed already, the tiles are top notch, and there are a lot of tiles in this game. Just look at them. 147 regular room tiles to be exact, and 48 specialty rooms. Each room is unique, and you can spend hours admiring the artwork on the tiles. In fact, you might even find a few Easter eggs if you're looking hard enough. You can't tell me that this scythe room was not put in there on purpose. The game itself has a tile. And I'm going to go out on a limb and even say that this tapestry room is an Easter egg as well. I think even Jamie's cats made it into the game. So even though the artwork is really cool on these tiles, there is one, I guess, problem. If you consider it a problem, I guess it's just kind of the nature of it, but they're so tiny. The art is so tiny. and the writing on them is so small. So some people may have a hard time reading the tiles. I mean, it wasn't a problem for me, but I can see where it might be a problem. Now, the other end of that is if the tiles were any bigger, it would take up a whole bunch of space on the table. So in the end, really, it's probably not a big deal. Maybe one day they'll make a giant collector's edition. I'm not going to hold my breath. Now let's talk about ease of play, starting with the rule book. So here is the rule book. It is 15 pages, not too bad. Typical Stonemaeir quality in the rule book, easy to read. There's a lot of pictures, there's a lot of examples. Every way of scoring a tile is explained very, very clearly. So the rule book is not any longer than it needs to be. So I think for ease of play, it's very easy to learn. It's very easy to teach as well. We were a bit lost during the game at the beginning as to which of the two castles was doing better. You know, so as we were placing tiles, it was a little hard to gauge at first, but that got better as the game went on. And by your second and third game, it'll probably become second nature. One thing we did find a little difficult, at least for us, was keeping track of the bonuses. So if we go back to the scoring or the player aid here, just remembering if we had gotten already the bonuses for these rooms became a little hard to remember. So one thing I suggest or thought of later was why not bring in a third Stonemaeir game into the mix and use your wingspan eggs to track which bonus you've already taken. There you go. Problem solved. But the game is easy to learn and it is easy to play. So on the ease of play front, it gets 2 thumbs up from me. How about replayability? That's pretty important. You know, you buy a game, you want to be able to play it more than once and still have fun with it. How's replayability with Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig? I think replayability is very high. I mean, you have so many tiles and so many different ways of scoring. Every game's going to be different. Plus, with setup being so quick, that won't be an excuse not to play. In fact, you might want to play again as soon as you've finished playing. So replayability is very high. So I like to end my reviews with a non-gamer rating for each game. No doubt you're going to want to play this game, but what about your spouse, your friend, your partner, your kids who will play with you, but it has to be that specific game or just the right time? How likely is a non-gamer going to want to play this game? And normally I use a simple 3 rating system. 1 is set it up. That means no doubt about it, I like this game. I don't have to think about it, just set it up and I'll play. 2 is, I'll think about it. So even though you like this game, there's something about it that just, I don't know, it could be the rules, it could be the playtime. And 3rd is don't even bring it up. Don't mention it. No matter how much you beg, I'm not going to play this game. So what does this game get? This game gets a, I'll think about it. And I'll tell you why. Just because you're building 2 castles at the same time. So at the beginning for a new non-gamer, that might be a little overwhelming, I can say. Maybe after 1 or 2 times, once they wrap their head around that concept, then the rating would change. But on a first or second play, it's probably going to be an I'll think about it. And finally, before we wrap up, were you able to find the 3 hidden tiles in the room? If you did, comment down below. And if you found them, I'll give you a shout out on my Instagram channel. And maybe I'll reveal there where they are too. So that's it. That's what I think about Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. What do you think? Have you played it? And if you haven't, does this look like a game you would enjoy? If you like this content, please comment down below, leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified when more content is uploaded. Also, I'd love it if you check out my Instagram page and give me a follow at BoardDad. All the links will be in the description. That's it for this one. We'll see you on the next one.